Hi, welcome to the Bourne Review. I'm Susan Barlow. Here's some headline news and announcements. At the beginning of town meeting, retiring town moderator Robert Parody was honored for his long and outstanding service to the town. We wish him well. At special town meeting, Bourne voters in attendance approved an additional funding for the wastewater treatment facility. The town had received $1.5 million from the state and $2.3 million grant from the federal government. But as was discussed in much detail at special town meeting, construction costs have increased over time since the planning stages of the project and required a vote to approve an additional $2.8 million. Selectmen opted not to renew Town Administrator Tom Garino's contract. His contract is up on June 30th, but he will remain until September while a search is on for his replacement. Mr. Garino has been Bourne's Town Administrator for the past 14 years. We wish him well. Peebles Elementary School held an open house on May 24th for people to come in and walk down memory lane. Principal Jane Norton and outgoing school superintendent Stephen LaMarche were on hand to greet visitors. Many alumni came back to check out old class photos and historical photos that were on display of the Peebles School. The Peebles School is expected to be demolished in the fall once the new Bourne Intermediate School opens next door. Our town election was held on May 21st. Voter turnout was low, and incumbents Peter Meyer and George Slade were both re-elected to the Select Board. Groundbreaking for the Tides at Bourne, formerly referred to as the Calamar Apartments, took place on May 9th. The structure will have 120 one- and two-bedroom apartments for active seniors. It will be constructed just off Main Street, near the Keystone Place. It's also near the new Hampton Inn, which is on track to open this summer. The Cape Flyer, a summer weekend passenger train, has a new stop. A platform is located under the Bourne Bridge on the Cape side of the canal. Visit capeflyer.com for more information, schedules, and tickets. In this episode of the Bourne Review, we'll take a look at Bourne Library's Meet the Author Night, featuring Dr. Edward Hoffer, who gave some money-saving suggestions and tips that you can take advantage of right now. Next, we'll listen in on some inspiring words at our two high school graduations, both Bourne High and Upper Cape Tech. Governor Charlie Baker was the commencement speaker at the Upper Cape Tech Vocational School. A big congratulations to all graduates, and we wish them all the success in the world. We'll check out a talk by Matt Villameno entitled Pilgrims, Myths, and Misconceptions. Did the Pilgrims really step on Plymouth Rock? And we'll take a moment to enjoy some wonderful photos showing the beauty that surrounds us. We'll also take a look at the calendar to see some upcoming events in June and early July. Well, here are our featured stories. Our healthcare system was the topic of discussion at the Bourne Library during Dr. Edward Hoffer's Meet the Author talk. Dr. Hoffer discussed his book, Prescription for Bankruptcy.
So the science is really just tremendous. But on the darker side of the coin, what has also happened is medicine has gone from being a calling where people went into it, to help others, to being a business, to being where the bottom line is in essence, the driving force for an awful lot of decisions. We in the US spend astronomically more money on healthcare than any other country in the world. And I'm not talking Bangladesh, I'm talking England, Germany, France, countries with excellent healthcare systems. $3.5 trillion I would ask for a little perspective when you look at these, if we go through with Medicare for all, it's going to, over the next 10 years, it's going to cost us $40 trillion. Well, if we do what we're currently doing over the next 10 years and extrapolate, it'll be about 50 trillion. So we spend roughly at least twice per capita what other comparable countries spend. And granted, we're richer than they are to some degree, but again, 18% of our gross domestic product goes to healthcare versus 10 or 11% in most other countries. If we were able to get our 18% down closer to maybe even to 12, we could fix all of the infrastructure in the country. All our bridges, all our airports, everything that's falling apart could be fixed with the money that we should be able to save by getting our healthcare expenses down. That have a life expectancy a year or two more than we do. And if back in 2013, Time Magazine did a cover story on healthcare, one of the things they pointed out was a baby born in Havana, Cuba, had a better chance of making it to age 2 than a child born in the US. So much for our wonderful healthcare. This one is particularly striking, frightening. Maternal death rate. Women shouldn't die in childbirth at all, in this century. Some of them are going to. There's there are things that can't be controlled. But if you look at Japan, Canada, France, the United Kingdom, all, sort of 6 to 9 per 100,000 live births, the US 26, 3 or 4 times as much. And in all of these other countries, the maternal death rates are falling. In the US, it's actually going up. So, we have not got a healthcare system that we can be proud of and say is worth every penny we're spending. Thought he had ruptured a disc, walked into an imaging center, they did a CAT scan of his spine, cost him the equivalent of $200 out of pocket. No insurance, nothing. The average cost in the US is 7 times as much. And if you happen to be in Alaska, it's approximately $2,500. So, we had another friend, and our friends don't just live dangerously, a lot of them travel, was in Paris, fell down, broke her hip, was taken to one of the hospitals, had the hip repair. The total cost, hospital, physician, and having a visiting nurse and a therapist come to their apartment was a little over $8,000 equivalent. Average price in the US, $38,000. And that doesn't include the care after you go home. So you're probably pushing more like $40,000, 5 times as much. One of the surgeons she saw here said, "Great job. Would have done the same thing here." Looking at the cost of hospitals and doctors, Duke University, which is a major teaching hospital, had, last time I checked, 1,500 people in their billing department. Montreal General Hospital, which is a comparable teaching hospital, gets by with 10. And that's primarily to deal with the people coming from out of the country to get care there. So, none of these, last I heard, none of these 1,500 people worked for free. They're all working, they're all getting paid, and they're all coming out of what we pay for healthcare. So roughly $50 billion a year goes just to move money from one pocket to another. Also a realist, I know that the amount of lobbying money that is going to go into fighting this is astronomical. The hospital industry and the pharmaceutical industry are the 2 biggest lobbyists in Washington, and we have the best Congress that money can buy. So I think it will be very difficult to get through. So I think incremental may be the most practical approach. Expand existing Medicare, let small companies buy into it, let people buy into it younger, and kind of get used to it. Practical things for you to take home. If you have a prescription, don't go to the first pharmacy and take, the prices, even in this country, will vary twofold between different ways of different prices from different pharmacies for the same thing. When your doctor gives you a new prescription, Ask if it's generic. If it isn't, ask if there is something generic that would be just as good. Several, like Walmart pharmacy has a page after page of things they'll sell you $10 for 3 months supply. Print that list, take it in with you, say, well, you know, what you're treating, can you get it off this list? We spend 2 to 3 times as much per year for medicine in this country as anybody else does. Some sample prices, average wholesale price, I pulled US, Canadian, a blood thinner 4 times as much, 2 EpiPens 3 times as much, insulin 4 times as much. Same product, exactly the same product.
This show can be seen in full on Bourne TV Channel 13. Visit bournetv.com for broadcast times or to watch it on demand. In an outdoor ceremony, Bourne High School graduated 117 students on June 1st. This commencement can be seen in full on BTV Channel 13, or you can watch it on demand at bournetv.com. Just click on the public icon.
With the acceptance that we are human comes the underestimation of personal abilities, and that is anyone's greatest weakness, to shy away from potential. The world, indeed, wants us to succeed, is counting on our success. Now, as we move on from high school, we are the emperors of our own lives. With this power and responsibility, it is up to us to decide what kind of empire we aspire to build for ourselves. They say Rome wasn't built in a day. We'll be working on our character for the rest of our lives, but we take with us the foundation built over these past 4 years. We never stop learning. As we grow and change with the world around us, we continue to understand how the universe works while discovering who we are and what makes us happy. Despite his downfall, the infamous words of Julius Caesar echo in his glory. Veni, vidi, vici. J'ai venu, j'ai vu, et j'ai vaincu. I came, I saw, I conquered. I wish every member of the class of 2019 to find his or her calling and conquer the world. Thank you, and congratulations.
On June 2nd, Governor Baker gave the commencement speech to the 50th graduating class of Upper Cape Tech. 157 students matriculated from Upper Cape Tech this year.
In my very biased opinion, Massachusetts has the best career and technical high schools in the country. And UCT is among the very best of the very best. And keep these 3 rules in mind. Rule number 1, make good choices. The parents usually like that one a lot. It seems simple enough, but believe me, it won't be. I can almost guarantee that at some point in the next few years, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and say something like, what was I thinking? The answer will be that you weren't. Rule number 2, don't be afraid to try new things. Now, with respect to rule number 2, remember rule number 1. Don't try stupid new things. Try smart new things. Force yourself to think harder, work harder, try harder than you have before. Reach for something that matters. Growth is about getting outside your comfort zone and ultimately being okay with that. I'm sure you've all heard of the famous artist Michelangelo. His works will live on forever. Thousands of years after his death, people still flock to see his work. He said one time that the greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. Put more simply, find your life's purpose and then stretch yourself. Which brings me to rule number 3. That was actually very appropriate, because rule number 3 is learn how to put down your phone. Now, I take great comfort in the fact that our children are all in their 20s. They grew up before 5-year-olds had smartphones and before social media changed, well, everything. There are probably some positives associated with social media and smartphones. Keeping up with real friends, timely updates about projects at work, photo sharing from trips, vacations, and fun events, and access to boatloads of information that required weeks of study in the library to access back in the day. But most of what comes flying over social media is noise. And you need to know that. It's not the real world. The real world is here and now. It's your parents, your family, your teachers, your friends, and your coworkers. The ones who find a way to be physically, emotionally, and personally present with you whenever they're with you. They would stand in front of a moving vehicle to save your life. They lie awake at night, wondering and worrying about how you're doing and what they can do to support you as you grow into adulthood. They want you to be strong, happy, diligent, kind, and empathetic. They hope the lessons they've taught you and the support they've offered will help you be a good person as you get older. And they feel this way because they connect with you in the most fundamental way of all, by virtue of your collective humanity. Believe it or not, your phone has no humanity. It's a tool, plain and simple. It's not your friend. It's not your family. It cannot and it does not love you. And it feeds on distance, anonymity, and outrage. Enormous amounts of social media involve people saying and doing things they would never dream of doing if they were standing right in front of you. It enables anger and bravado, much of which is uninformed or deliberately deceitful. It is the nonsense that comes when you separate real-life consequences from actions and words. The choices you make, they will be real. The new things you try, they will be real. And they will mold you into the adult you will become. Now, you start today as graduates of a terrific institution. You have a strong foundation on which to build a purposeful and positive life. Your parents are proud of you, and so are your teachers, your friends, and your neighbors. They watched you grow up, from diapers to backpacks, from footy jammies to t-shirts and jeans, from your first steps to your driver's license. They believe in you, they believe in your humanity, and they dream big things for you. They will root for you, they will pick you up when you fall down, and they love you. So make good decisions, try new things, remembering rule number 1, stretch yourselves, and for crying out loud, put down your phone. God bless and good luck.
This commencement can also be seen in full on BTV Channel 13, or you can watch it on demand at bournetv.com. Just click on the public icon. Matt Villameno spoke to a full house at the Bourne Historical Center, revealing what's behind some of the myths and misconceptions about the Pilgrims and Plymouth Rock.
Now, the last myth I want to talk about, of course, is Plymouth Rock. And we all know the story. In 1620, Pilgrims arrive in Plymouth Harbor. They pull their boat right up next to that rock. I'm usually saying this, next to the rock. They get off the boat. They get onto the rock. They get off the rock. They get onto the beach. Welcome to the New World. Now, they had landed on Cape Cod a month before that. So their first steps in the New World are 100% not on that rock. I can say that completely unequivocally as a historian. Did they see the rock? Let's go from the other direction. I can say with reasonable certainty that they saw the rock, because the original settlement is only about 500 feet from Plymouth Rock. It's Leiden Street today. Although the plaques, modern research is suggesting the plaques may all have to be shifted one way or the other, because Main Street might not be where their Main Street was. That's something for the other historians to worry about. I'm not going to worry about that one. And the concept of the Pilgrims stepping on Plymouth Rock, and we have some small myths associated with this as well. Who's the first person on Plymouth Rock? Who are the two contenders? Can anybody tell me who are the claimants?
Elizabeth Tilly, Standish. Well, there was talk of her being...
Not Tilly, but it was one of the teenagers, the teenage girls.
I should know this.
Begins with a C. Last name begins with a C.
Chilton?
Chilton. And then John Alden is the other. Their families are both saying, and the Tilly tradition may also say the first woman, because I can tell you 100% that if they stepped on the rock, it wasn't her, because she wasn't on the exploratory ship.
Right.
And even when they pull into the harbor, a teenage girl is not going to be on the first boat going out to the thing. Is she? If they stepped on the rock, is she the first of the women to do it? Maybe. Assuming they stepped on it, if I had to put money on one particular person doing it, I heard the name over here somewhere, Miles Standish. He's a very much lead from the front guy. And he's going, if not him, one of the unnamed sailors, because he's going to have to secure the boat. One of the things I would see fairly frequently at Plymouth Rock, somebody would come into the portico, we're doing that time, good. Put their hands on the railing, lean over. They pause. Really? That's it? I thought it would be so much bigger.
The boat was really small.
It was bigger. It was probably about twice as big around, as best we could tell. It used to be illegal for people to take hammers and chisels and take souvenir pieces home. But they did this, and people keep coming to see it today because it is an important symbol. And that mythology around the rock has turned it into that symbol. Does it matter if they stepped on the rock at this point? No. Not really. My theory is they used it as a landmark, so as they're coming ashore, they sighted on it so that they could find it again. They could find that spot of the beach again, if they liked it there. And then they landed near to it, but not too near, because you don't want to break your boat.
This show can be seen in full on Bourne TV Channel 13. Check out BourneTV.com for broadcast times or to watch it on demand. Here are some wonderful photos taken by area photographers showing the beauty that surrounds us. If you'd like to share your photos on Bourne TV, contact me at info@bournetv.com or give us a call at 508-759-6763. If you enjoy watching Bourne TV, please consider supporting us by becoming a member or an underwriter. Visit BourneTV.com and click on Membership for more information, or give us a call at 508-759-6763. We're located in the Bourne High School, and we have a separate entrance at the back of the building. Here are some events that are happening in June and July. The Briggs McDermott House is open for the season, Fridays and Saturdays starting June 14th through August 24th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. with guided tours. Or appointments may be made for visits on other days by calling 508-563-1087. On Saturday, June 15th from 11 to 3, it's the 48th Annual Strawberry Festival at the Uptuxet Museums Complex, hosted by the Bourne Historical Society. This year, the festival will feature the Uptuxet Garden Club of Bourne's Craft and Treasures Fair in the Pavilion from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 12 tables with lots of beautiful handcrafted items will be for sale, as well as some gently used treasures. The Friends of the Jonathan Bourne Library is having its annual book sale. This is the most important fundraiser of the year and supports many of the programs we enjoy at the library, such as author talks and the Concerts on the Lawn series. Stop by and pick up your books for summer reading. On June 19th, the Bourne Historical Society has a Wednesday gathering with Chris Sutherland, author of the book History of Cape Cod Nightlife. The talk begins at 7 p.m. It's free and open to the public at the Bourne Historic Center, 30 Keene Street in Bourne. On June 25th, the library presents Sharing Space with Eleanor, At Home with Eleanor Roosevelt by Carol Cohen. It starts at 7 p.m. On June 26th, the Bourne Library kicks off its Concerts on the Lawn series with Celtic duo Stanley and Grimm. A donation for the food pantry is your entry fee into the concert. Bring your lawn chair, bug spray, and a picnic snack to enjoy in their memorial garden. The concert is held inside in the event of bad weather. On Saturday, June 29th, the Buzzards Bay Coalition hosts Cape Cod Canal Boating and Water Safety Day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Cape Cod Canal Visitors Center at 60 Ed Moffett Drive in Bourne. Our annual Born on the 4th of July parade will take place at 10 a.m. on Main Street. On July 10th, it's the annual Falmouth Arts and Crafts Festival on Main Street in Falmouth from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Also on July 10th, the Harper and the Mistral will be playing at the library's Concerts on the Lawn series at 7 p.m. Well, that's it for this episode of the Bourne Review. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next month.